Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jayam Swa Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pavajakacharya Asatar Siddhasisimad Abhay Charnavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Swa Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pavajakacharya Asatar Siddhasisimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Matakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Siddh Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sri Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mae Ki Jai, Yamuna Mae Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shishi Gornitai Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16. How Parikshit received the age of Kali. Text number 35. Ka va saheta viraham purusha uttamasya prema avaloka ruchirasmita vaguchapai staryam samanam aharat madhu manininam rama utsava mama yat angri vitankitaya kavese tavraham purushottamasya Mavaloka Vichya Smita Valka Chapahai Staryam Samanam Aram Madhu Manininam Namatsava Mama Dangu Vatanki Kavesa Heta Vraham Pushottamasya Brahmavaloka Vajra Smita Bhoga Japai Staryam Samanam Aran Madhu Manininam Ramotsava Mama Yadangri Vitankitaya Kavasaheta Varham Pushottamasya Pramavaloka Vajra Smita Vagu Chapai Staryam Samanam Aran Madhu Manininam Ramotsava Mama Yadangri Vitankitaya
Kava Sahita Viraham Purushottamasya
Kavasaheta Varham Purushottamasya
Prema Valoka Ruchira Smita Valgu Jalpai
Prema Valoka Ruchira Smita Valgu Jalpai
Staryam Samanam Aharan Madhumani Ninam
Staryam Samanam Sahamadamaninam
Romotsavo Mamayad Angri Vitankitaya
Namotsava Mama Yadankri Vitankitaya.
Kavasaheta vidahang purushottamasya
Kavasaheta Varam Purushottamasya
Premavaloka ruchira smita valgujalpai.
Brahmavloka Vichasmil Jalakajapai.
Staryang samana mahanan madhumaninang. Romotsavo mamayadangri vitankitayaha.
Mama Yadankri Vedankitaya.
Kava sahita viraham purushotamasya
Sava Setam.
Prema valoka ruchira smita valgujalpai
Prema Baloka Racharas Mitavalkujapai.
Steryam samana maharan madhumaninam
Saram Samanam.
Ramotsavo mama yadangri vitankitayaha Kava sahitam viraham purushotamasya
Kava Seta Virham Vidishotamasya.
Prema valoka ruchira smita valgujalpai
Prema Baloka Racharam.
Taheyam smanam mahal madhumaninanam Romotsvamadya dangari vitakriya kitaya Kava sahita viraham purushotamasya Prema valoka ruchira smita falgu jalpai Staryam samana maharan madhumaninam Romotsavo mama yarangri vitikitaya Kava sahita viraham purushotamasya Ima valoka uchirashmita valgajalpahi Stiryam samanam aharam madhumaninam Rotsavo mamayadanigir vitankitiyaha
Kava Sahita Viharam Purushotamasya. Prema Valoka Ruchira Smita Valgujalpahi. Staryam Samana Maharam Madhumaninam Romotsavo Mama Yadangri Vitankitaya.
Any juice or anything, or?
Ka Hu Va either Sahita can tolerate Viraham separation Purusha Uttamasya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prema, loving, Avaloka, glancing, Vichara pleasing smile, Vaguchalpai, hearty appeals, Staryam, gravity, samanam, along with passionate wrath. Aharat, conquered. Madhu, sweethearts. Manininam, women such as Satyabhama. Rama Utsava, hair standing on end out of pleasure. Mama, mine. Yat, whose. Angri, feet. Vitankitaya, imprinted with. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Who, therefore, can tolerate the pangs of separation from that Supreme Personality of Godhead? He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts like Satyabhama by his sweet smile of love, a pleasing glance and hearty appeals. When he traversed my surface, I would be immersed in the dust of his lotus feet, and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass, which appeared like hairs standing on me out of pleasure. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. There were chances of separation between the Lord and his thousands of queens because of the Lord's being absent from home. But as far as his connection with earth was concerned, the Lord would traverse the earth with his lotus feet, and therefore there was no chance of separation. When the Lord left the surface of the earth to return to his spiritual abode, the earth's feelings of separation were therefore more acute. Translation again. Who therefore can tolerate the pangs of separation from that Supreme Personality of Godhead? He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts like Satyabhama by his sweet smile of love, pleasing glance and hearty appeals. When he traversed my earth's surface, I would be immersed in the dust of his lotus feet, and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass, which appeared like hairs standing on me out of pleasure. So this, one word that strikes me in this verse as important is the word prema. Prema means loving. And this word prema can be applied only to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prema cannot be applied to a relationship with the demigods, or my relationship with my wife, or children, or family, or country, or community, or planet Earth. This word prema is applicable only to the Supreme Lord. And in every scripture of the world, this love of Godhead is exalted as the ultimate goal of life. But how to attain this love of God, the details of how to attain love of God can be found in the Vedic scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And this love is the panacea for all the ills of the world. Everyone wants love. When I was coming of age in the 60s, there was a lot of talk of love, but actually it was only lust. I love my girlfriend, I love this, and I love that, but it's simply lust. In the material world, there cannot be love, and this love is described in detail in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead came to this earth again only 500 years ago, and he exhibited how to attain the love of God, and he practiced it himself by exhibiting the ecstasy of loving Krishna in separation. And this earth, when Krishna was on this earth, it was the most fortunate planet in this universe, the most opulent planet. And Krishna is still present on this earth in the form of his holy name, in the form of his devotional service, and he's carried in various places by his pure devotees who try to preach Krishna's words all over the world. And Krishna is present still on this earth in two forms, water and wood. Krishna is present in water in the form of Ganga, Ganges River, and Krishna is present in wood in the form of Lord Jagannath. So Krishna's very kind. Krishna doesn't have to come to this miserable place, but he does so out of his causeless mercy to the conditioned souls. And we can see from this verse how one could serve Krishna even by becoming angry, just like Satyabhama. Every queen had her own personalities, and they were all pure devotees. And some of them sometimes exhibited anger at the Supreme Lord, like Satyabhama. Sometimes she would be in an angry mood, and Krishna would relish this because everyone worships Krishna in awe and veneration. But sometimes Krishna likes to be chastised by his devotees. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he's a strict sannyasi, he worshipped the gopis as the emblem of the highest exhibition of love of God. Sometimes the gopis would chastise Lord Brahma because Lord Brahma made eyelids that blink. While the eyelids were blinking, they couldn't see Krishna. So sometimes Krishna likes to be chastised, sometimes Krishna likes to fight. In the spiritual world, there's no chance of fighting because everyone in Goloka Vrindavan is pure devotee. But in the material world, there's a chance of fighting, and Krishna relishes the opportunity, and he comes for the reason of chastising the miscreants and giving pleasure to his pure devotees. And Satyabhama was the daughter of Satyajit. Satyajit was a king in the jurisdiction of Dwarka, and he was a great devotee of the sun god. But his devotion was not prema, it was not bhakti. Worship of the demigods is generally not bhakti, because generally the worshippers of demigods do so for material reasons to satisfy their lusty desires. And this is the case for Satyajit. He worshipped the sun god, and as a result, the sun god was pleased with Satyajit, and he awarded him benediction of the Shamantaka jewel. And this jewel was so valuable, it was producing mounds of gold every day. And when Satyajit wore this jewel in a locket around his neck, he appeared so effulgent that people in Dwarka thought, here's a sun god come to Dwarka to see Krishna. Actually, everything here is meant for the service of Krishna, but Satyajit, later on, he realized his foolishness, and he offered his daughter, along with the Shamataka jewel, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and he was sincerely lamenting his foolishness, and Krishna accepted his gifts, and this is how Krishna married Satyabhama. And Satyabhama was one of the chief queens of Krishna in Dwarka, and this relationship with Satyabhama and Krishna is very nicely described in Krishna book, along with Krishna's pastimes with the earth personified. This verse is spoken by the earth personified in the form of a cow, and she's speaking to Dharma, who's in the form of a bull. So it may be very, very amazing that animals can speak. Formerly, there was a television program called Mr. Ed, the Talking Horse. So in the spiritual world, every living entity can do wonderful things. And also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that Krishna's potencies are inconceivable. Even this material world is inconceivable. There are planets that are so opulent, they're inconceivable to our present senses. We're very proud of trying to save the earth, but this earth is considered a middle planet. But below this earth, there are subterranean heavenly planets, which are very opulent, and there are also hellish planets where the sinful living entities are sent for punishment by Yamaraj. And above this planet, some planets are made of jewels, some planet is made of gold. In some of the heavenly planets, the roads are paved with pearls, and there's mango trees hundreds of miles tall, and the mangoes are as big as elephants. So these things are inconceivable to our present senses, and when the scientists, generally when the material scientists hear of these Vedic descriptions, they think this is mythology, this is imagination. But no, everything in Srimad Bhagavatam is factual. Why would so many acharyas, great acharyas, Sankaracharya, Madhavacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the greatest scholars on earth, Jiva Goswami, they all accepted Srimad Bhagavatam. They all accepted Bhagavad Gita as infallible scriptures. There's nothing untrue in the Vedas. Veda means knowledge. And Satyabhama had many loving pastimes with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also, the earth personified was praying to the Lord after her son, Bhamasura, was killed by Krishna. Krishna cut off this demon's head with his Sudarshan chakra. And at that time, the earth personified praised Krishna, that my dear Lord, may I inform you that this boy, whose name is Bhagadatta, is the son of my son, Bhamasura. He has been very much affected by the ghastly situation created by the death of his father and has become very much confused, being afraid of the present situation. I have therefore brought him to surrender unto your lotus feet. I request your lordship to give shelter to this boy and bless him with your lotus feet. I am bringing him to you so that he may become relieved from the reactions of all the sinful activities of his father. When Lord Krishna heard the prayers of Mother Earth, he immediately assured her of immunity from all fearful situations. He said to Bhagadatta, "Don't be afraid." Then he entered the palace of Bhamasura, which was equipped with all kinds of opulences. In the palace of Bhamasura, Lord Krishna saw 16,100 young princesses who had been kidnapped and held captive there. When the princesses saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna enter the palace, they immediately became captivated by the beauty of the Lord and prayed for his causeless mercy. Within their minds, they decided to accept Lord Krishna as their husband without any hesitation. Each one of them began to pray to Providence that Krishna might become her husband. Sincerely and seriously, they offered their hearts to the lotus feet of Krishna with an unalloyed devotional attitude. As the supersoul in everyone's heart, Krishna could understand their uncontaminated desire, and he agreed to accept them as his wives. Thus he arranged for suitable dresses and ornaments for them, and each of them, seated on a palanquin, was dispatched to Dwarka city. Krishna also collected unlimited wealth from the palace, along with the chariots, horses, jewels, and treasure. He took from the palace 50 white elephants, each with 4 tusks, and all of them were dispatched to Dwarka. After this incident, Lord Krishna and Satyabhama entered Amaravati, the capital city of the heavenly planet, and they immediately entered the palace of King Indra and his wife, Sachi Devi, who welcomed them. Krishna then presented Indra with the earrings of Aditi. When Krishna and Satyabhama were returning from the capital city of Indra, Satyabhama remembered Krishna's promise to give her the plant of the Parijata flower. Taking the opportunity of having come to the heavenly kingdom, she plucked the Parijata plant and kept it on the back of Garuda. Once Narada took a Parijata flower and presented it to Krishna's senior wife, Sri Rukmini Devi. On account of this, Satyabhama developed an inferiority complex. She also wanted a flower from Krishna. Krishna could understand the competitive womanly nature of his co-wives, and he smiled. He immediately asked Satyabhama, "Why are you asking for only one flower? I would like to give you a whole tree of Parijata flowers." Actually, Krishna had purposely taken his wife, Satyabhama, with him so she could collect the Parijata with her own hand. But the denizens of the heavenly planet, including Indra, became very irritated. With their permission, Satyabhama had plucked the Parijata plant, which is not to be found on the earth planet. Indra, along with other demigods, offered opposition to Krishna and Satyabhama for taking away the plant. But in order to please his favorite wife, Satyabhama, Krishna became determined and adamant. So there was a fight between the demigods and Krishna. As usual, Krishna came out victorious, and he triumphantly brought the Parijata plant, chosen by his wife, to this earth planet, to Dwarka. After this, the plant was installed in the palace garden of Satyabhama. On account of this extraordinary tree, the garden house of Satyabhama became extraordinarily beautiful. As the Parijata plant came down to the earthly planet, the fragrance of the flower also came down, and the celestial swans also migrated to this earth in search of its fragrance and honey. So this is a very interesting pastime of Krishna and Satyabhama. And just like one fragrant flower tree can sanctify a whole forest, similarly, one pure devotee in the family can sanctify that whole family and can save all the family members from hell. Not only that, but they could be liberated for 14 generations, and they could go back home, back to Godhead. Krishna's so kind. Are there any comments or questions? Yes, Dr. Gio.
Hare Krishna, I just wanted to make a comment. We actually have a book in the Brahmachari ashram that's like, it's got Bhaktivinoda Thakur and then Einstein on the cover. I forget what the title is, but on the back it says something to the effect of like, that Einstein said that, this is in reference to your point about how everything in Srimad Bhagavatam is factual. So on the back of the book it said, when Einstein said that time and space is malleable, everyone accepted it, but when the Vedic astrologers or the Vedic scientists said that 200 years prior or something like that, then the Western world labeled it as mythology. So I just thought it was interesting that that came up today, because I saw that yesterday and I was like, it always catches my mind, you know, how advanced the Vedic civilization was. And, you know, yeah, that's all I wanted to say though. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Gio. Jai Shri Sigurnatai. But unfortunately nowadays in India, people are rejecting the Vedic knowledge, and that this is India's misfortune. So ISKCON has a great responsibility to try to revive faith in the Vedas, faith in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and faith in the great acharyas that come out of India. This land of India was exalted in the whole universe because when Krishna comes to this planet, not only as Krishna, he comes in other incarnations, he generally comes to the holy land of Bharatavarsha. And by traversing the earth of Bharatavarsha with Krishna's lotus feet, he sanctifies that land. And anyone who goes to that land today, he can feel the spiritual atmosphere. And if one goes to Vrindavan, his first business is to fall down on the ground and rub the dust of Vrindavan all over one's body, not considering one's materialistic prestige. So the dust of Bharatavarsha is very sanctified because Krishna walked on that very earth. And so many pure devotees also walked, following in Krishna's footsteps. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only 500 years ago, he again sanctified this planet by his divine presence. Does anybody else know any pastimes of Satyabhama with Krishna? If not, we'll conclude here. Thank you very much for listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. It's time for the Sankirtan Festival. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So we have some ecstatic book scores for this week of September 19th, and we will read them for the pleasure of all the assembled devotees. The Sampradaya Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Tulsi Maharani, and Sri Sri Gaura Nitai. Okay. So this week, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 book distributors. So in 8th position, with 2 small books, for a total of 0.5 book points, Radha Stali Devidasi. Haribo! In 7th position, with 3 small books, for 0.75 book points, Bhaktijiyo Prabhu. Haribo! Bhaktijiyo, please claim your prized Halava Prasad. In 6th position, with 1 small book, 1 medium book, 1 big book, and 1 Maha Big Book, for a total of 3.75 book points, Krishna Bhagavan Prabhu. Haribo! In 6th position, 6th, is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, whoa, we have a lot of book distributors. In 6th position, with 1 small book, 1 medium book, 1 big book, 2 Maha Big Books, for 5.75 book points, Magadari Prabhu. Haribo! In 5th position, with 4 small books, 2 medium books, 2 big books, and 2 Maha Big Books, for a total of 8 book points, Bhakta Jacob Prabhu. Haribo! Prabhu, please claim your halava or banana. Which one? Banana? In 3rd position, or 4th position, with 2 magazines, 2 Arabic small books, 45 small books, 37 medium books, 29 big books, and 28 Maha Big Books, for a total of 120.95 book points, Rishi Kumar Das. In 3rd position, with 3 Srimad Bhagavatam sets, for a total of 216 book points, Ananda Prabhu. Haribo! In second position, with 1 Arab small book, 5 magazines, 74 small books, 70 medium books, 63 big books, and 68 Maha big books, for a total of 256 book points. Maturnath Prabhu. Haribo. In first position, with 38 Arabic small books, 4 Arabic Bhagavad Gitas, 80 small books, 52 medium books, 50 big books, and 49 Maha big books, for a total of 294 book points. Bhaktavatar Prabhu. Haribo. And the RVC Rupanuga Vedic College, Hare Krishna, Kansas City, Transcendental book distribution total for this week is 7 magazines, 41 Arabic small books, 4 Arabic Bhagavad Gitas, 208 small books, 163 medium books, 146 big books, and 150 Maha big books, for a total of 905.21 book points. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhaktavatar, would you share a Transcendental book distribution highlight?
Yeah, the one that comes to mind, everybody was kind of there, but it was really nice, but I'll say it again to refresh everyone's memory. On the plaza, we were doing Harinam, and on the way back to the car, there's the last person I talked to. It was this younger gentleman, and he was with like a crowd of friends, and they didn't stop. Like, they kept walking to like go to this, demon restaurant. And he stopped for a minute, and it was just me and him, and I was like telling him about this book, and then the Harinam party, you hear like Hare Krishna, Krishna. It's getting louder. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare, and it's like right there in the middle of our conversation. And this guy is just like unfazed, like this huge circle surrounds us of like Harinam, and Ananda has like this phone in his face, like recording our interaction, and he's like totally unfazed, and he hands over $2, and you can feel everybody's just like, what the heck? And I'm like, I take it, and I'm just like, yeah, keep talking about the books. And then I hand him like the mantra pamphlet, and I'm like, this piece of paper changed my life, man. It's all on meditation. He's like, you know what? This is probably worth a lot more. And he hands over $10, and everybody, I don't know if they did, but like from my memory, everybody was like, Haribo, but I don't think everybody did that. But that was kind of like what I felt. But yeah, it was nice. And he took the books home.
Transcendental book distribution ki jai. Maturnath Prabhu, would you share a highlight?
Yeah, I was out on the plaza and on Saturday, and there was this, he was a father, he was a bigger guy, he was maybe 50. He had 2 younger daughters and a son, and his wife was with him. And I had passed him 3 separate times. And the first time he was outside of the shop, and he had a kind of a special glow to him that a lot of people don't really have, just kind of in his eyes, and he had a little bit of a smile on his face. And first time I went up to him, I said, these are books from ancient India on yoga and meditation. I'd love for you to have them. And he kind of looked puzzled, and he said, no, I think I'm okay. I'm like, are you sure? And he just kind of started laughing, and he didn't take. And then I passed him again, and I just kind of gave him a nod and a smile. And then the third, in another store, the third time his family was in another shop, and I had went up to him, and I said, are you sure you don't want some books? And he said, what are you guys? Like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just being inquisitive. And he was really gentle, and he had a smile on his face. And I said, well, we're servants of God. We're monks. We live at a local temple, and we dedicate every moment of our day to trying to serve God. And then he said, he started asking me questions about God and who he is, and he said that he said, what's with the orange and the shaved head? And I told him it's just simple cloth. As monks, we like to stay clean. And our conversation goes on for maybe 10 minutes. He's asking all these questions, and his family comes out of the store, and he looks at me, and he looks at his daughter, and he says, "Honey, can you please give this saint some money? He's come to save us." And then he says, "Give him $10. And she gives me $10, and she says, she's like really little, and she's like, "Thank you so much." And then he takes a stack of books, and he says, "You're my kind of people." And then we part, and then I walk the block again. I distribute a couple more books, and I look over, and he's at the Harinam party, shaking everyone's hands and offering obeisances to the devotees and taking prasad. So it was, it totally just made my day. I mean, Saturday was, I probably talked to more people than I've ever talked to on Saturday, and I got a lot of no's. And it just, I kind of got to the point where I didn't care at all if they're saying no or yes. I just wanted people to take books, and I don't know, it was like, there was like a threshold where so many people were saying no. I was like, okay, I might as well approach every single person that I see. And I was just doing that, and it was very nice. It's a very nice time on books. Harinam Sankirtan Yogya Ki Jai.
Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Is Ananda Prabhu upstairs? Okay, I don't know where he is. Maybe if anyone catches him, we can get a highlight. Okay, I'll say a highlight from this weekend. The one that stands out the most was we were at a shopping center, like an outdoor mall, Legends, and there was a group of these like rowdy teenage boys from Texas, and they just kind of surrounded me, and they were all asking me like 5 questions at one time all of a sudden. So I just figured, all right, I gotta stick this out. And I don't even know what I was saying or what they were asking, because they were like talking so quickly. So it was really hard to think. But at some point I gave them the books, and then they asked some more questions about what's it like being a monk, when do you guys go to sleep, what do you eat? There's really like a lot of weird questions too. But they were holding the books for a while, and we were talking, and they're like, "Well, how do you guys make money?" And I said, well, some of the monks have like a job and a family, and also with these books, we asked for donations. And one of the friends like hits his other friend on the shoulder and goes, "Give him some money, man." And like, they just had a really funny attitude. So they all were encouraging each other to give money, but no one was giving anything. And then one of them pulled some, so just like maybe $6 out of his wallet. And he was like, "Here you go, man, but you can keep your books." And I said, "No, you guys can share those ones." And so they kept them. And then afterwards, they kept asking all these just random questions. And they started pointing out people. They're like, "Well, why don't we try to give the books to them?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we ran over to this one guy, and I met them because one of their friends' name was Reese, and he spelled it the same way that I spelled it. So he was, I think, the first one to try to give them out the books. So he walked up to a guy and he's like, "Hey man, we've got these books. You've got this cool hoodie. Can you take these books?" And no one was really interested. There was one other group of people we walked up to, and so yeah, it was a strange time. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Bhakti Jacob Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so we went out on Harinam with the Plaza on Saturday. It was real nice. I don't really have any really like standout book distribution stories, but I just really liked the kirtan this time, and I felt it was very nice. So I'm just appreciating the nice kirtan on Harinam. Yeah,
and how much it helps actually give out the books to create that transcendental vibration. Anyway, Transcendental Book Distribution Key.
Magadari, if it's possible, we're ready for your ecstatic book distribution highlight. Oh, we've got some info with Ananda. He distributed the Srimad Bhagavatam to Kori and Katie, Andrea Mataji, and Adeline Mataji on Bhadra Purnima. Haribo! One who makes a gift of this work on Bhadra Purnima goes back to, attains the supreme destination. Haribo! Bhakti Jio Prabhu, would you share a highlight?
What about Magadari?
We'll see if he comes up.
Hare Krishna. So we were on Harinam Saturday, and there was this. We were just doing some kirtan, and we were doing it for a while. And there was these two ladies on the other side of the street, and they walked toward us. Because I guess one of their destination was on our side of the street. But anyway, they get to us and I'm like, "Can you say Hare Krishna?" And because I had seen it on YouTube. I saw Mahotsa do that. I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool to use it." And so I was like, "Can you say Hare Krishna?" And they were like, "Hare Krishna?" And I was like, "Okay, now say Hare Krishna again." They were like, "Hare Krishna?" And then I was like, "Krishna, Krishna." They said it. And I said, "Hare, Hare." And they said it. And then they said the rest of the mantra. And it was great because at first they weren't interested in anything. They're actually looking at us kind of weird. They gave us a weird look. And I was just the power of the holy name, it gives you so much. It helped me to reach out to those people, and they were really interested in that stuff. So they ended up taking some books with them, and yeah, we gave them some cards to look at the mantra again. So I hope they keep going with their spiritual journey because it already started. So, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.